Hey everyone, this is Morey Croson with the Performance Lab of California, and we're going to do a breakdown today on Alex Smith, and we're actually going to kind of do a new series now, where we're going to start to kind of compare what quarterbacks look like when they were, early on in their careers, maybe college, maybe at the, beginning of their pro career, compared to now, and just kind of see the progressions that they've made. Just because I feel like that would give a good understanding too of where these pro guys are going in terms of better understanding mechanics. So, what we're doing here with Alex Smith, we're comparing him from the game that he had last night, which he had a really good game. We had a couple requests to get his breakdown, so I thought it would be a good opportunity. And him when he was at Utah. And what his mechanics were there. So we'll start with the ones when he's at Utah. This is his BCS game, so really the last game that he played in college. And there's a couple things that he was doing back then that I don't think were as much of a problem. But now I think that they've spent some time to try to address it. Okay, so one of the big things is his front arm. He uses a lot of his front arm here, so he gets it really high up and brings it back down and across. A lot of times, or a lot more focus is now put on really this part of the throw where that front arm is really getting driven through and uses kind of a beginning part to rotate the upper body. So I think that's something that he's definitely improved on, is he doesn't use as much of the front arm and the loading part of it, so he doesn't get his arm straight and get it away from him, but instead does a better job here where he's rotating through and really using that front side to make it so that arm gets a little bit more whip. Another thing is, and this used to be a bigger thing, a few years ago, I'd say probably like 5 or 6 years ago when I was playing, is that, guys would really try to get that really long step. And you can see that he's doing that. There's not as many guys that are doing that now. It's not really about the long step anymore as much as it is about getting down quickly and getting the ball out of your hands, especially in Andy Reid type offense where it's all about, getting those quick plays, getting the ball out of your hands and getting the athletes out in space. I'll say this though, but before, and I think he probably worked on his mechanics to try to make it so he got rid of this where the front of it, and I know it's hard to kind of see, but you can see that the front part of the nose is kind of facing downwards here. And we see this a lot where the ball nose goes down, that elbow really flares up, and then you come around from there. He doesn't do that anymore. He doesn't keep that elbow really high anymore, but now he really drops that ball a lot lower. So I think this is good where he gets that 90-90 position right away. But he allows that ball to drop, which I think is a key thing that we don't want to have happen as you're going back, because it's just a waste efficiency, waste time, makes it so it takes longer for you to get the ball out of your hand. So again, three key things that we'll look at here from before and after. What is that front arm doing? How does he take that back arm back in that load? And then what is his step like as he's going through the throw? Okay. So here is throw last night. It's not going to be from the same position. It's the touchdown that he threw last night, but I still think that it's a good view for what we're trying to see. So first you can see the ball. So notice how he drops that ball down there. So he doesn't get the elbow up as much. It's much more kind of, get that motion going as fast as you can. So he doesn't have much wasted motion from, here through. He just gets that ball right up out of his hands, which is good. But I do think that the better, more optimal thing to do would be to go straight back, more like he was doing in college. Just make it so that that elbow doesn't necessarily get so high. But I don't disagree with how he went through his throwing motion here 100%, just because it helped him in getting a little bit more efficient. I just think that you could probably optimize this a little bit further. Okay. Next thing, notice that front arm. Okay, that front arm, he doesn't get really far away from him. Notice how close he drives that front elbow through as he's going through the throw. I think that's a big thing that he improved on. That probably really helps him get rid of the ball quickly, because he really pulls back with that elbow, which I think is great. The next thing is that front step. He still has a pretty wide step, but that's just because he really actually has a pretty wide base. A lot of times quarterbacks are trying to stay tall in the pocket. He's not as much like that. He's going to be back there, and he's going to stay in a pretty wide position with his feet as he's getting ready to throw, and then he goes from here. He still gets that foot down pretty quickly as he begins to throw, but he is in a kind of a wide spot with his stance. You can see that's probably about probably a little bit more than a yard there compared to when he was playing back here, where really it probably ends up being the same thing, close to like maybe a yard and a half. You could see where his back foot was when he started, almost to, the back, closer actually to 2 yards here when he goes through that step. Okay, so there's a bit of a difference from when he was in college to where he is now. I think he does a better job of getting that foot down and getting rid of the ball, but he still has that tendency to be, have a longer stride, especially compared to some of these guys like who has good short strides. I'd say like Cam Newton could have a good short stride. Aaron Rodgers has a good short stride. Drew Brees, and then Drew Brees has a longer stride. Dak Prescott has a longer stride. Tom Brady's kind of right in between. Has sometimes has a really long stride, sometimes has a really short stride. He just he's similar to Alex, where when he's in the pocket, he's going to have a little bit wider stance. And then throw from there. So he's kind of right in the middle. So I'd say that those two probably have the most similar characteristics. Would be in terms of the step would be Alex Smith and Tom Brady. Obviously throwing wise, Tom Brady does a much better job of getting that ball back right away compared to here where Alex Smith really drops the arm. But anyway, yeah, I think that we could definitely see some improvements that Alex Smith made from when he was in college to where he is now, and obviously did a great job last night picking apart the Patriots defense. So, good for him. Kudos for him. And now we got that Alex Smith breakdown down. So, continue to send us requests. We obviously want to be able to, get the quarterbacks that you guys are interested in seeing and do breakdowns there. You guys, a lot of times, give us good ideas for, who to do a breakdown of. If you have any questions, please reach out to me. My email is Morey, M-O-R-E-Y, at yourperformancelab.com. We also have memberships where we go over different types of ways to throw football, throw baseball, run faster, really cool thing. We do throw breakdowns where you send in videos of yourself throwing, and we'll go and break it down, give you exercises on how you can improve your individual throws. So if you're interested in that, please send us an email. And then also check out some of the other videos on our YouTube channel. We do different exercises, again, different types of breakdowns for speed, pitchers, quarterbacks, a lot of cool stuff there. So as always, thanks for watching, and we will see you soon.